he find out there in the abyss?
The enemy up here is not a person or a thing. It's the endless void.
The world awaits our discovery, my son.
What's up, Anomangians? And welcome back. So, I just saw Astra, and I gotta say, I don't really know what to think of it. If you're looking for another Interstellar like I was, you're going to be gravely disappointed, because this is not Interstellar, even though a lot of what it does narratively, a lot of what it does with its world is very similar to Interstellar in that way. There's a lot that they do differently, and it also, there's a lot that they do that's the same that doesn't work as well. and that doesn't mean that the film is bad, because I enjoyed myself when I was watching it. But when I walked away from watching this film, I felt like something was missing. And I don't really know exactly what that was, but I think I do have a few ideas of what it could be. Now, Astra follows Roy McBride, who's tasked with finding his father, who is presumed to be dead before a series of electrical power surges started to affect the Earth and threaten all human life. And so he's tasked with going to make contact with his dad, because it's believed that his dad's ship is what's causing these power surges. And so that pretty much leads into the rest of the film. At this movie's core, this is a story about a son trying to find his dad, and that's quite literally all this film is about. It does try to touch on certain other themes. What exactly would happen if we started to inhabit other planets like the moon or something, or what would happen if we started making all these technological advances that got us into space. How would we deal with that? What would we do up there? And while I did enjoy that those things were touched on, they were touched on very briefly. And this is mostly just about this guy, Roy, his inner struggle, his issues in his personal life, and just trying to find his dad. And I feel like for a movie to be about that, and pretty much only that, it doesn't do a really good job of building that central relationship up enough for you to care as much as I think it wants you to. One of the main issues that I had with this film was it mostly feels like everyone around Roy, or the world around Roy, everything happens to get Roy from point A to point B. And admittedly, there are a lot of films that do this, point A to point B. It's a journey. You need to get from one place to another, fine. But you do it in a way where the viewer doesn't, it's not as obvious to the viewer, right? Where you're just kind of sitting there like, okay, this person is doing this so that Roy can get here. This person did that so that he can get here, so that this can happen. It feels very mechanical in that sense. There are literally some characters in this film that don't even, you don't even remember that they were there, because they're not only are they only in the movie for about 10 minutes, but their entire point, the entire character, was just to get Roy from here to here. And I feel like it hurts the film, because it doesn't give anyone else an opportunity to show any kind of acting ability or anything. These people are just reading lines, and they're operating things and all that, and then we're just looking at Roy. And Roy is, and while he is the main, while he is the focus of the film, it would have been interesting to have like some other kind of characters in there next to Roy. Not that he needs a sidekick, but someone who, someone else who could stand out, who could add something more to the overall film. This is literally just a Brad Pitt movie period. And while Pitt does do a good job here with his performance, especially in some of the quieter moments, Brad Pitt really shows that he has some incredible acting ability. I just feel like the movie would have been helped or elevated some with some characters that aren't only on screen for 10 minutes, and when they are on screen, they don't really make much of an impact. And I think that really hurts the movie here. Not only that, but the movie is very slow. And if you went into this film expecting some kind of action-packed space epic, which I don't think that you should, it's just not that. There are a few scenes in this film that are definitely gorgeous to look at, wonderfully constructed. I saw this film in IMAX. You definitely need to, if you're interested, check this movie out in IMAX, because those scenes are worth the price of admission alone. I mean, they are incredible. There's a scene in the beginning with an accident on a satellite. I mean, it's incredible. The way that they constructed that scene, I haven't seen anything like it. And there's a few other scenes after that too. It begs to be seen on the largest screen possible. But I mean, other than those few scenes, there really isn't a lot going on here. So you might find yourself feeling a little bored after a while. If you're not into looking at space and seeing planets and just looking at the world that was built, you might not have a lot to enjoy here. And that is unfortunate, because the movie really does do a lot of things well, but I just don't see, many people going to see this movie and enjoying it. And honestly, from the looks of the Rotten Tomato scores here, the critics love it, the audiences not so much. It's sitting at a paltry 47%, and I don't know if it's going to go up or not after this weekend, but that just kind of leads me to believe, like, yes, people are not really enjoying this film. I think that 47% is way too low for this movie. I think that it should at least be in the mid to high 60s. But I mean, clearly it's just not connecting with audiences. And honestly, I can kind of see why it's slow. The action sequences are far and few between. And the mystery at the core of the story, the payoff doesn't feel as good as it should. It's a lot of build up to get to a certain point, and when you finally get there, it just doesn't stick the landing. And that's really unfortunate, because I was really, while I was watching the film, really looking forward to this moment, and it just didn't hit. Which leads me back to Interstellar. Interstellar, even though it wasn't an action-packed film in its own right, it was also very visually gorgeous to look at, but it had something that this movie doesn't. That movie was about a father and his daughter overall. The father was sent on a mission and everything, but they made sure to make you feel for this dad and his daughter and their relationship. You don't feel that for Roy and his father here. You feel for Roy because he's really the only character that's really explored. And while his father is definitely, he's definitely has a large role in this, his father, I feel like, was kind of wasted, because they didn't really explore his father's psyche, what he was thinking. They kind of did, but they kind of handed it to you instead of really delving deep into that. And I feel like if they would have done that, maybe, the end of this film would have hit a little harder than it did for me. I don't know. I will say that one of the main standouts in this movie is Tommy Lee Jones. My God, his performance in this film, even though it's rather short, is incredible. I really wish that he had been in the movie a lot longer. I mean, what he does in this film is just so good, and I'm so happy to see him on the big screen again, because it's been a long time since I've seen any Tommy Lee Jones movies. I mean, at least since the early 2000s. So it's good to see him acting again, and he really shows that he's definitely one of the greats in this film. But overall, Astra was good, not great. I feel like it definitely dropped the ball with its central parental story. Its central mystery just didn't hit as hard as I would have hoped. And I feel like its characters are largely dispensable, just kind of there to get Roy from point A to point B. And that leaves a lot to be desired as far as having people around Roy that actually build the film up or build up the narrative. The film is a technical marvel. It's wonderful to look at. Its world is big, it's vast, it's largely realized. I do like the science fiction aspect of it because this is some science fiction that actually feels real, like this could actually happen. And there is something near the end of the film that I really enjoyed that they didn't kind of veer away from. They actually stuck with that, so I like that a lot. But I don't know if I can really recommend this film to anybody who's not like a very strong lover of science fiction. I love science fiction. I love it when it gets dense. But other viewers may not like that, and I feel like this is just for a specific. I feel like this movie is an acquired taste overall. So I don't know if I can recommend it to you, but if you do see it, go see it in IMAX. What did you guys think of this review? Do you agree with my criticisms of this movie, or do you feel like I missed the entire picture and I need to go back, watch it again, take better notes? Let me know in the comment section below, and if you have not done so already, go ahead and click that subscribe button so that you can get more content like this, which contains movie news, reviews, and reactions from your boy Derek right here at Anamanji. Don't forget to click that like button, and do not forget to click that bell notification so that you will know when I post again. That's all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay dope.